Hey guys, it's Matt here, and I wanted to shoot this video for you to share the quick story about my first client, my first person that I ever taught how to run affiliate launches. The guy's name's Eric Mankian, and he actually came to me. He said, "I've seen what you've been doing for other people. I'd really love to learn what you've been doing." And we were in a similar position then as we are now, in the sense that you know I was busting it for the company I was working for at the time, plus some side clients running their launches, much the same as we are now. We're running so many launches that when people come to me and say, "Will you run our launch?" Our default answer is no. We're just booked solid. And he came to me and said, "Could you teach me how to do it? I know you can't run it for me. Could you teach me how to do it?" And I said, "Yes." Well, we worked together, very similar to the Seven Figure Affiliate Launch Master Series, in the sense that we did a series of calls, and I taught him, and we had Q&A at the end. He asked me questions throughout the process, and I would help him along his journey. And then we did a 1 month check-in call to see how things were going and answer any more questions. And when he came to me, I'll never forget, he said, "Hey, last year we did $88,000." I'm like, "Dude, that's awesome. Uh, you built a business. You got an online business. It's just you. You're doing $88,000 a year. That's outstanding." But the problem was he was having to hustle so much for that $88,000. He's just like, "Man, I'm tired. It feels like every dollar I earn, there's a time amount associated with it, and I'm just tired. So if I don't scale this, I got to go find something else to do." And he came to me, $88,000 a year. We worked together for about 6 weeks and had the check in call. And at the end of those 6 weeks, he's like, "Yeah, I got it. I got how to do this. I think I can do this on my own now." About a year later, I reached out to him on a whim one day. Now, we make this a practice now to reach out to people over time and actually ask them, like, "Hey, how is this working for you? Because I'd like to know that the money you invested actually went to good use." But at the time, it wasn't a practice. It's my first client, right? So I just reached out to him on a whim and said, "Hey, how's it going?" And he was like, "Hey, let's talk." And so we talked on Skype, and he shared his screen with me, and he said, "Here's what's happened over the past year. We went from $88,000 to $212,000 in a year as a result of bringing on affiliates, as a result of what we had taught him." He said, "Even better, I was able to hire somebody part time. I'm not working so much." He said, "Hey, I wanted to let you know that this $124,000 extra that we brought in this year, here's what that meant to our family. We moved out of our crappy 2 bedroom apartment. It's 4 people in a 2 bedroom apartment. We moved out of that apartment and we moved into a nice 3 bedroom home. He named the neighborhood. It's actually in the town where I grew up, so I knew the neighborhood. I'm like, that's a nice neighborhood. They moved into this 3 bedroom home. They paid off all their debt except for their home, and they took their daughter, who was slightly special needs. She had some I don't know of a better way to say it other than learning disabilities, some learning challenges. And they took her out of the public schools, which just weren't able to serve her well. That's the reality of that situation. And they put her in a private school that had a great program for people with her special need. He said, "We're doing it. I'm not working so much. I'm actually able to spend time with my family, enjoy the money that we're making, and enjoy more time with them." And I was like, wow, that is who I want to help. Because at the time, I was working with these big brands. I was working with multi-million dollar companies, publicly traded companies. I was running, you know, 10, 20, $30 million affiliate programs, brands that you've heard of. And I was running these massive affiliate programs. And the interesting thing about that is I would double or triple the size of their program over the course of a couple of years. And I don't mean this from an egotistical standpoint, but that growth wasn't even really a line item on their company's. See, like, I didn't even get mentioned in their quarterly SEC call. With when they do the Securities and Exchange call where they have to report their numbers, we didn't even get mentioned. And I don't need that mention, but it was like, I'm not really impacting them. I made this company an extra $10 million, and what did that do for any individual? Not very much. But when Eric Mankey went from 88,000 to $212,000 a year, I not only changed his life, but I might just have changed his family tree. And that's why I do what I do. That's why I teach what I teach now. We don't have time to bring on everybody who reaches out to us and says, hey, Matt, will you work with us? The reality is we can only run so many launches per year. So this is our way of increasing our influence and having more impact and getting this message out of how to get affiliates and run these mega launches to more people. So I'll ask you, what would it mean to you to run a 7-figure launch? And you know what? That's probably not going to be your next launch. So what would it mean for you to bring in an extra $124,000 a year like Eric did in income? What would it mean for you to do like Nick Stevenson and your next launch is 3 or 4 times higher than this one, to bring in hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue on your first or your second launch, and ultimately build up to the point where you're running 7-figure launches? So I want you to take a moment and picture that. Like, what would that actually mean for you, your family tree, your kids, your grandkids, your lifestyle? If you ran a 7-figure launch tomorrow, what would that mean for your lifestyle? What would that enable you to do? What have you always dreamed about that you're just not able to do because you're struggling to bring in that revenue? Well, the 7-figure affiliate launch master series will show you how to do that. We're going to show you exactly what we do with our clients like Ray Edwards and Nick Stevenson, Lewis Howes, Brian Tracy, Jeff Goins, the list goes on and on. What we do with them, we're going to show you how to do that. We're going to show you exactly how to run over time a 7-figure affiliate launch. Again, I want to be clear. Your first one's not going to be 7 figures. We have what we call 4th launch vision, which is we want the 4th launch in the series to be the biggest of them. And we build up to that. And we'll show you how to build up to that. So there's a link right below this video. Go check out the link. Check out the sales page. If this is for you, if you ever want to sell anything online, I believe it is for you. If this is for you, join the Master Series. Join other entrepreneurs who are out there busting it like you are and want to learn this stuff. Join me, join them, and together we're going to help you run your 7-figure affiliate launch.